Hey everyone! Before we get into it, I have to let you in on a bit of an inside joke. In this episode, I'm joined by Connor, aka Small Brained American, as a co-host, and we interviewed our mutual friend Nolan, aka SealonTour. Before recording, in a group chat, Nolan said to me, and I quote, "Try and cancel me." And well, I took that personally. So, enjoy the episode.
I've looked back over the footage and I was like, actually, like, this guy's kind of fucking weird. And he was very specific. He's like, I want you guys to shower and shave and like do your hair and like look really nice. It was like, yeah, it was like some weird like pimp shit.
Hello and welcome to Beers Till Takeoff. My name is Phil, and today this is going to be a bit of a different episode as we have an awesome guest and a guest co-host for this episode. In today's episode, we will be talking about some wild shit that happened in Iraq, and I'm fucking pumped about this one. So let's meet our co-host. This man is no stranger to the podcast or to freedom. He has more guns than passport stamps. Welcome back to the show, Connor, aka Small Brained American.
Let's fucking go. Happy to be back, bro. Thanks for having me.
What's going on with you, dude?
I'm just chilling here at home, man. I've been home for like 3 weeks, just taking a little breather before the next leg of the journey.
Today's guest is a Canadian YouTuber, backpacker, and skateboarder. He was once cast in a Bollywood movie. He's the master of the mystery street juice. We'll get into that a little bit later. And his videos were actually one of my inspirations to visit the Amazon in Peru. Welcome to the show, Nolan.
Hell yeah.
Sealon, aka SealonTour,
Hell
aka
yeah.
boy Seal. What's going on, dude?
Hell yeah, boys. Let's go.
What's going on, dude?
There's a lot to unpack there. I feel like if we don't talk about the Bollywood thing, that's kind of leaving people hanging.
I know. What happened?
Yeah.
Let's jump right into that. I want to talk about that Bali.
I was in Jaipur in India, and this guy just came to our hostel. I guess he was a recruiter, and he's like, "Hey, you guys want to be in a Bollywood film, as an extra?" And I'm like, "Oh, I've got nothing to do. Let's do it." And so, yeah, we went to this set, and they were filming for a Netflix series, and I think it's on Canadian Netflix. It's called Mismatched.
Shit.
Episode 6, and it's this fancy ass restaurant, and dude, they gave me such a weird outfit. It was like a red shirt with a jean jacket. I'm like, I would never wear this. And basically their logic was oh, this is a fancy restaurant, thus white people would come and eat here.
But Nolan,
I don't know. I don't know why you would go to
You're wearing a fucking jean jacket, buddy. That's a Canadian tuxedo. That's
exactly. I put on for my people. Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah, they're like, this is a setting white people would be at. But it's dude, you go to a backpacker hostel to get people who would eat at a fancy restaurant.
Yeah,
it was just kind of funny to me. It didn't really add up.
Street rat, bro. You're just a street rat.
Oh, exactly, dude. I felt so out of place. But yeah, this thing came out on Netflix, and it was actually big. The people in it were pretty big in India. You can look it up. It's called Mismatched on Canadian Netflix, but I think it popped off other places. Maybe there's a season 2.
Do you have scenes
I don't
in
know,
it?
but, yeah.
Are you do you have any
Dude,
lines?
I'm just in the background. I'm just an extra. I'm just in the background. But you're kind of just even as an extra, you're what do I do with my hands? You're oh, they want you to be talking, socialize, and it's just but she's talking, so I can't be talking, we are gonna be talking over each other. You're literally in the background, super blurry, and you're tripping over it, this doesn't look good. Do I eat my noodles now?
But it's the main character syndrome, dude.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're essentially an NPC.
Yes.
I looked into it way too much, but I was stoked to be there because film sets interest me. I took it all in. I loved it.
How much did they pay you? 100 rupees or?
Dude, no, it was $30 when we were there probably for 8 hours. It was an experience.
Indian wages, bro. Damn.
Yeah, no, I think okay, here's the thing that I thought was weird is we had a little break and they brought out this big buffet, and there's 2 sections of the buffet. So I went to where all the good stuff is, and then they're like, oh, this is for like cast and crew, like extras and like other people are over there. It was like they
Oh.
fucking
It's
they
classist meal.
polarized the movie set, and it wasn't even like it was much different. Like we still had good curries and whatnot, but there was like some food that was a little nicer at the other one. I'm like, what is the point of this?
It's just like your
I
food
The
was
feel
on
like
caste
the floor.
systemed the hell out of you, bro.
it was weird, dude. Yeah, that put me in my place.
Fuck, dude.
You eat on the ground.
Yeah, dude, there was no mystery juice there, and I was bummed. I was ready to fucking leave.
That's a cool experience to have, though. I just want to transition to this that's happening recently in the news. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but are you guys seeing what's going on in Mexico with the Sinaloa cartel?
Yeah. And dude, I
Oh
heard
shit!
that
Like the air raids and stuff.
It's basically
Mhm.
that
Right.
the Mexican government didn't kidnap. They arrested the I think it's El Chapo's son, and
yeah.
because of that, they've just been going off, and it's basically like all out war down there, based on what I'm seeing on the news. But it's
Yeah.
crazy. Like the next Narco season is going to be wild.
Jesus Christ.
I was listening to the radio, and like they're like, oh, me and Connor fucking have these conversations all the time. They're just like, avoid all essential or unessential travels to Mexico, like blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, it's like happening in like Sinaloa, like or like Mazatlan, like places like really tourists don't go. And I was listening to just the people on the news, and they're like tripping them out about it, like talking about Mexico while it's the wild wild west. And then I'm like, dude, I can bring up like literally like 10 homies who are there right now who are just like chilling on a beach, like living their best life.
It's not
Like
Mexico's
Yeah,
a
it's
big
also like a
country.
huge country.
it's like if there
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like a hailstorm in Halifax and people in Vancouver were like, whoa, holy shit, buckle down the hatches.
Yeah, I mean the only
Yeah.
issue is that it's not hail. It's fucking like bullets, and that's
That's
maybe
totally-
why people are taking it
Yeah.
a bit extreme. But it's still something fucking crazy. If you haven't seen it, fucking go check it out. It's fucking crazy. But listen, Seal,
Yeah, dude.
I want to talk about you a little bit. Let's get into how'd you start traveling, dude? How'd you begin this little journey?
I was like in university for like the longest time, just like had
Van
this
Wilder.
pent up energy to go travel. Like I was probably like 5 years in university, and I studied geography, so I was learning a lot about the world. Yet the only world I knew was Ottawa, Ontario. So eventually, like once I got out, I booked a trip to India, like a solo trip, and that was
your
like kind
first
of
trip?
my first. Yeah,
Holy
I was just
shit.
like, I really want to send it, if you will,
Yeah.
right away. And so it was cool. I was like, it's still like probably the most memorable trip I have, like one of my best travel experiences ever. It was quite different from like my trips nowadays, because I think now like I travel quite slow. Like I'm working at the same time. I'm shooting a lot of videos. I kind of like to be grounded. But India, I was just like, go, go, go. Like literally every morning on a new train, going to a new city. And like, I think it was cool. Like I was staying in hostels less, I'd say, because like I didn't know what the fuck to do to meet friends or whatever. But at the same time, I just wanted to experience everything. So it's like I got that a little bit of that hostel life, but at the same time, it was just like it was cool to learn how to like be alone, do things for myself, just like meet local people. And that's like kind of like the travel I do nowadays, is like kind of remote, kind of places people don't go. So like, dude, yeah, every day was just sending it to a new location. I know India's a huge country, but somehow in 2 months I covered a decent amount of it, but
Yeah.
still didn't even scratch the surface.
Well,
It's still like one of the most memorable trips.
And it's a great place to kind of get your bearings for traveling. Like you're kind of forced into
100%.
learning what you need to learn very quickly. It's not like you're going to a place that's maybe a bit more sheltered to a lot of the dangers of traveling. Like, if you started in Europe or something, you maybe take a bit more time to learn some of the stuff based on how similar it is to your day to day now, right?
Exactly. And the thing about like traveling, like kind of like maybe India is a backpacking route, but I didn't necessarily take like this banana pancake trail. Like I kind of just made my own little route. And the thing about like doing that is that like you said, you're on your own. You got to learn how to like basically book all your stuff, get around, be able to get transportation. So like now whenever I'm with a crew, and we're just going around. Like, I don't even ask questions. I'm just like, okay, like, I'm just along for the ride. Book it and let's go, you know?
Yeah.
But whenever I'm alone, you got to do all that stuff for you. So I take advantage whenever I'm with the crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I would say like India is a pretty intense place to go, like the first time, because I mean, even that was the last place I went, India and Pakistan, and like even now I have like I would say pretty significant like travel chops, but even then I was like, I'm like Jesus Christ, like the scams and like the weather and the pollution and
The
just like
diarrhea.
the attitude of the people. It's just a lot, dude. You know,
Yeah,
so
you
I
got to be
imagine that was
sharp.
intense.
You got to be sharp sometimes there. Like, same, like I just got back from Bangladesh, and it's like, especially in Dhaka, just walking through the streets, it's just like in Ottawa, you can tune out, you know, you just walk down the street and tune out. But like there, it's just like there's so much coming at you. Like I just put a video out on TikTok, and this guy's like, "Whoa, watch out! It's dangerous here." And like I don't think he was talking about like the people or anything. He's just like just the fact there's all these like rickshaws coming each way, and like they come inches from each other. So like you got to be sharp, especially in the cities. There, like things are coming from every single way. You
Yeah.
might
Yeah,
get
dude.
little bumps and bruises if you're not looking out.
Yeah. So Seal, I want to talk about Bangladesh. I want to talk about that a little bit later, but I want to kind of get people to know you a bit better, like in terms of how you started to into becoming a YouTuber. So, what inspired you to start documenting your adventures on YouTube?
Dude, yeah, it was probably the same as you, Connor. Was it like Bald and Harold? Like a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I was like stuck at home during the pandemic, and Bald just showed
Yeah.
up in my suggested, and yeah, that's where I kind of
Yeah, I
got
think
the
for
idea.
a lot of people, it was like, okay, like pre 2018 on YouTube, it was like a lot of like lifestyle, like not to name any names, but it's a good example, and I think he has dope content. But like Lost LeBlanc, it's just like, oh, let's go to this nice resort with my like beautiful girlfriend and get served like a 5-course meal, and like, dude, if that's what you're into, like all the power to you. But like on YouTube, like that seemed like it was the whole landscape, and you never really saw people just like kind of just like, oh, I'm in the streets, I'm just gonna walk around and see what the heck I can find, you know. And then like Bald and Harold, like Harold came along, and it was like discovering sliced bread, and it's like, dude, this dude just turned his camera on and would walk through like Dharavi, like the biggest slum in the world in India, like looking to find beer or some shit. I'm like, this is such a ridiculous concept. It's very simple, and like this dude's getting millions of views, and I'm like, I don't want to like go to no like Sky Bar in Bangkok, Thailand, and show off all these like nice little cocktails I'm getting. I want to do that. Like that's like the kind of shit. Like I want adventure, and that
the real
seems
shit.
like true adventure. So like, but I think a lot of people like, and like no shame, like jumped on that kind of bandwagon like a couple years later, and that's why I think like the market's hell oversaturated. So like if you want to do something, you got to do something super unique. Like even going to Pakistan now isn't unique. Like there's no offense, Connor.
No. It's true.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's just like so many vlogs you see from there. Even Afghanistan, dude. So many vlogs you see coming out of Afghanistan. So it's like, dude, like there's a lot of people trying to imitate Bald and Harold, and like I have no shame. I got inspired by them, but at the same time, like I'm trying to put my own kind of style, my own kind of swing on it. So like definitely those were the two that got me into YouTube. But like even after starting, you just realize like, hey, you get so much opportunity just by being a creator, you know. Like I just got back on TikTok. Like I was banned from TikTok for a while, and really the only reason I got back on was like I just want connections, you know. Like TikTok was such a good way for me to make connections. Like they don't pay me at all, and like I had a lot of views, a lot of followers, didn't get any money compared to like YouTube pays me. But it's like I just want to meet people, and it was a good space for that. So yeah, dude. Now it's like,
didn't we meet on TikTok?
we met on TikTok, buddy.
Aw,
I think I
the
saw your shit
matchmaker.
first. I think I saw maybe it was like your Airbnb in Colombia video, and then I saw the one. Yeah.
No, I think I saw your like I think you made a video for like Hostel World. It was like check out my $5 hostel a night in the jungle or some shit. I think I found you, dude.
This is adorable.
Wow.
We're reminiscing our origin story.
Fanboys.
Yeah, no. I think we were fanboys of each other, and like I think we noticed like, okay, like at least TikTok wise, like we're doing something that like not many people are doing. Like I think YouTube, it's like kind of oversaturated, but as far as like taking that style and then like bringing it to YouTube, like yeah, me and Connor are definitely pioneers of that. Like you don't see too many people like making the style of videos we make. So like kudos to us on that.
And that's why I reach out to people like you. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would say on TikTok it's very like curated, kind of like what YouTube used to be. It's very much
exactly.
like Mr.
It's
Beast style type shit.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely like TikTok travel right now is very lifestyle-y, like, and where like YouTube now has kind of like gotten to like more of like a raw kind of like just go out, explore, find adventure, where it's just like TikTok is just like, here are the 5 best places I saw in Mexico. Number 1, Puerto Escondido. Like, I mean, like, it's not the kind of style like I'm gonna make, but like, I mean, it's impactful and there's a lot of information there. So like, kudos to you if you make that content. But I just wanted to make something different, and like, yeah, I think me and Connor are making cool stuff on there.
Seal, how many TikTok followers did you have before it got taken down?
86,000.
Yeah. And 86,000, that's crazy, man. And I mean, like your TikTok was recently like taken down, for people that don't know, because of a video of you defending Kanye's comments. Can you justify your position?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just that. I was also like posting videos with Andrew Tate, and yeah, also I roll with Jordan Peterson, so it was a mix of a lot of things.
Canadian cousins.
It was getting pretty
his uncle,
red pill on there. The fucking liberal media shut me down. Let's just say that.
Yeah, bro. You and Sneeko had that collab, and then they pulled the plug, dude.
Yeah, and Seal.
Yeah, exactly.
Funny enough,
he was just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, and Seal, I guess speak of the devil, but so I went over to your Insta page and I just looked at the people that you follow, and I just noticed that you follow a lot of Andrew Tate fan accounts, and one that was actually really disturbing called, and I quote, "Kill Greta Thunberg." Can you expand on why you support the top G?
Jesus Christ! I was actually like wanted to come up here like to talk about the top G. Dude, okay, you know what's really funny is like, dude, there's this video of him talking about like how he went to Jamaica, and Jamaica's like the most dangerous place in the world, and like, I'll never go back because you'll die. And basically, like, dude, he just like got in some random dude's cab, and like he brought him to this party, and he got to this party and he's like, oh, these guys are scary. So he went and like he just stood in the corner like twiddling his thumbs. Dude, I think the number one rule is like when you're in a situation like that, and like I definitely Connor knows about this, is like you got to adapt. Like if you're feeling uncomfortable, don't show fear. You know, be bigger than fear. But if you show fear, then you're just gonna get taken advantage of. Like, dude, there's many times in Jamaica, like, I mean, you could see it in my one video where we went and we shot pigeons, and then we went to the sports bar, and like there's this kid like coming up to the bar. He's like, yo, where's my fucking lighter? Like, I'll fucking cap you or some shit like that. It's just like, you gotta adapt. Like, you just gotta be like, hey man, like, you want to drink some rum? Like, dude, I was buying rum for these guys. Like, we were drinking beers. Just like, imagine I just went to the corner and like twiddled my thumbs like Andrew Tate. Like, dude, that is definitely like asking like, fuck this kid. Let's fucking run him for his shit. But it's a different tone when it's just like, this guy rolls up and it's like, hey, you guys want a beer? Like, what's your name? My name's Nolan. I'm from Canada, blah, blah, blah. But when you show up there and you're going to do nothing, it's just like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm not saying Jamaica's dangerous or anything, but like that guy needed to adapt, you know? Like, dude, roll up to that place and like start shooting the shit with people, offer them some rum, like start kicking it. Like, dude, like that was the least top G shit you could have did. So like, I don't know, like don't claim like you're a top G whenever like you got scared by some people like talking loud and went over to the corner and like just you didn't.
Sounds like he's adapt. A lot tougher while when he's recording than in person.
110%, dude.
Yeah, but anyways, so
it's just a gimmick.
Just I guess on the topic of adaptability, I was recently watching one of your videos in Bangladesh, and it was crazy because in the video you see there's like 30 people all around you while you're vlogging. They're just in awe. They can't believe that, you know, there's like a white person in Bangladesh. And so you boldly decided in your future videos to go blackface for the rest of the series in Bangladesh so that you could, in your words, blend in with the people. Did you get any backlash from your actions?
Those videos haven't came out yet, man.
That's Patreon only, bro. You gotta pay.
I've still been sitting on them, dude. But it was much easier to like get on my like tourist vibes where like I could just like walk around and like not have like much attention. But dude, that's the thing. It's just like I would walk around there, and I'm not saying like I didn't like this, but it was like literally every like 10 seconds. There's a video, my next video I'm about to put out is really apparent in this because it was the World Cup and I had a Brazil jersey on.
Yeah.
And it was like, go Brazil! I'm like, yeah. And then like literally just stop shaking that cat, start to walk down the street like 2 seconds, Brazil! And like, dude, literally every single person, I'm shaking their hand saying what's up. And I'm like, I was loving it. Like, I think that's amazing. Like, I just love meeting people and whatnot. Like, even if it's the same conversation, what's your name, where you're from? Like, I think that's still so cool. But it was like every second I was shaking someone's hand, saying
It's
what's
nice, I
up.
feel
And like, I'm not gonna get anywhere today. Like, this is my day, and I just accepted it. And that's literally the video. It's just me going around with a Brazil jersey on. It's just like either you support Brazil there or you support Argentina. So like, I basically polarized this whole nation.
I feel like that's cool. Like the first like 10 interactions, it's like novel, it's new, it's
Yeah.
fun. But then like, for example, like that happened in Iraq. Like I had one day, the day after we met Ahmed, and we just were feeling weird. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym and just like go about my day and like get some food and just like try to have a casual, low key day. And it was impossible. Like I left the house and every 3 seconds I was shaking someone's hand. Where are you from? Blah blah blah. It's just like dude, if you were like, imagine if you're like a diplomat or something, like
I
living
was
in
just gonna
Iraq,
say that.
like, and that's your
You'd
day to
have,
day experience.
honestly, you'd have to be a fucking dickhead. Like just to go through your every day as like a diplomat, you just have to be like a fucking asshole and just like either walk with headphones in or just like keep walking, because it's just like, dude, you're getting stopped every 5 seconds to be like, hey, what's up? And that's dope as a tourist. But like, there's definitely like diplomats who live in Bangladesh who like would walk down the street and probably just be like, hey, bro. It's like, dude, I live here. Like, this is my home.
Yeah.
Like,
well, dude,
like,
you remember that day in Iraq when we went to that shrine and those kids were like fully attacking us? I don't know what they did to you, but like they were pulling me, like they were like pulling me to the ground and like sticking their hands in my pockets and stuff.
You're getting it worse. The fuck you America kids.
Holy shit. That's payback, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, that was funny.
So boys, before we continue on to Q&A to get to know Nolan a bit better, I want to do a little bit of a segment here where Connor gives the pros and cons of traveling with your boy Seal.
Holy fuck. Do the same.
The pro, I feel like Nolan like has a very vigorous work ethic. Like he's like always editing shit. I will say he's like an internet kid. He's like always on TikTok and like scrolling.
iPad kid.
Yeah, an iPad kid.
Playing Candy Crush.
So that's cool. No, I definitely like worked a lot more when I was around Nolan for sure. I've gotten kind of lazy these days, but
I thought you were like editing more than me, honestly. Like you were grind. I thought the same of you, buddy.
Oh, look at us! Look at us! I could kiss you right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I will say the con is I was going back in some of my videos. Like there was one video that was like kind of serious. I'm sitting down with this guy Ali, and we have like some serious talks about like him growing up during the war and like his trauma and stuff like that. You know, seeing his friends die. It was like pretty heavy shit. And there was a few times where like, you know, we're having a serious conversation, right? We're like kind of talking low and like, you know, and then Nolan's just like loud as fuck in the background. Like he just talks so loud. He's like, oh yeah, I have this video idea. Like we can blah, 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 blah. And Ali's like, yeah, like I saw my friend head explode. And he's like, yeah, like it'd be cool, but it's not on brand for me. And like having a side conversation in the background.
Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry I fucked up your investigation.
We get a noise reduction.
It was a good video.
Background vid.
It's already out. Check it out on Small Brained American. YouTube channel. I thought I was a
Thank you,
good
Nolan.
journalist there, though. To be fair.
Yeah, no, it was solid. It was solid. Like I feel like we were like on the same page, like asking him like nice deep questions and everything. But then you would like have an aside with someone next to you, and you're like, ha ha ha, like I love Iraq,
Dude.
or I don't know. You just like shout something random.
I did not realize, and my apologies, buddy.
Nolan, are you just gonna take that from a
No,
guy
it
with
was
a
funny,
with a
man. It was
ponytail?
funny.
Dude, I've got a lot in the chamber.
What are your pros and cons for Connor?
Dude, the reason, well, I don't want to give too much away, but the reason we're telling the story today is basically because of Connor. Like I was keen to bear. like whenever we say like small brained American, like
It's on
he
brand.
is on fucking brand. Like, dude, like anyone rolls up in any country with a car and they're like, get in. He's like, yeah, sure. Let me get in your car.
Everybody loves
Yeah,
America.
I think it was after that mosque. After that mosque video, it was like the next day or the next video. Like we met another guy, and he's like, "Yeah, like come with me. I'll show you around the city." And we like followed him down a dark alley, and I was like, "Damn, I have PTSD from this shit, but we're still doing this." And I turned to Nolan. I was like, "Are you cool with this, bro?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess so, man. Like, fuck."
No, people in Iraq are like the nicest, kindest people, and like as far as people go, there's not really any real danger. But we like met probably the most sus guy in Iraq. But
Facts.
For
we're gonna touch
people
on that.
under or
On
over
that
20,
later.
sus is suspect. I've learned. The Urban
Oh, for
Dictionary
sure.
is your friend. Let's get into the Q&A.
Q&A.
So welcome to Q&A. This is just a segment so people can get to know you a bit better, Nolan. So first question, hot or cold?
Hot, but cold. Cold has its moments.
Fair enough.
In the cold right now.
Beach or mountain?
Mountains.
Bus or train?
Train. It depends. Like chicken bus in like Central America, like those old broken down school buses that they just ship to Central America, where like they load up with like people with like chickens on it. Like that's a vibe. But then if you're like in India or Bangladesh, definitely train. I actually rode on top of a train like a couple weeks ago in Bangladesh. It was
That's sick.
the best moment of my life. I can die
Wear a
happy.
seatbelt.
On top of the train.
You were on top of the train?
Dude, I literally almost died, dude. There was like fucking wires and shit. Like I'm literally scared to look back on the footage because I'm telling you, like I literally just ducked from a wire.
Could have been beheaded, bro.
Oh no, straight up, like I was on my iPod kid shit. I was like fucking looking at my phone. I was like, well, I've filmed enough. Let me go on TikTok. Like on
What? You're
On top of a moving train.
Like a bucket list moment.
No, I think it was like I wanted to look at the photos I took, but then like literally homie screamed at me and there was a cord that was like crazy low, like low enough that you had to like get on your back on the top of the train.
You had to like
And,
fucking
like,
Matrix that
I
shit.
haven't looked at the footage, like, but like I'm just kind of just like, yeah, I almost died. I almost got decapitated. Let me just not think of that.
Holy fuck, bud.
That sounds safe.
Yeah, buddy, it was a
Were
real
you
fucking
wearing your
send, bud.
seatbelt though? Cats or
No,
dogs?
fuck, dude. Seatbelts won't help you up there. You got to be strapped down to the top, laying down.
I feel like you're on your like Mission Impossible shit on the top of a train. I feel like you're like ducking under tunnels and like jumping over wires and like having fucking sword
No,
fights.
it's like literally like Subway Surfer, basically. Like you're avoiding branches and shit, like jumping over to the next train beside you. All the 9 yards.
What?
Getting all the coins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you can get some beef
Jesus
biryani.
Do
Cats.
people do it like for fun, or is it just like just
Oh
too crowded
hell yeah,
to...
dude. It's like, I mean, traditionally it's like, dude, the trains get so packed for like pilgrimages that like they'll just pack them up on top. But like, dude, there's like 9-year-olds up there just like, I'm just out having fun, you know. just
Wow.
Yeah, the kids will do it for fun. And some of the kids I met on there were on their way to university and they're like, yeah, we do this every day. We ain't buying no fucking ticket. I'm like, damn, that's pretty
Jesus
deep.
Christ.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Cats
Yep.
or dogs?
Let's just go dogs. Cats are bitches.
Good answer. Top or bottom?
What? You
bottom?
love cats. I saw you pick up so many cats on our trip, dude.
Yeah, cats are dope, but they don't actually love you back. The thing is, like,
that's true.
they just manipulate humans to survive. It's survivalist.
That's
but
what
dogs actually fuck with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs are the homies.
Mm-hmm.
Top or bottom bunk?
Bottom bunk. That's fucking psychopath energy if you're gonna say top. Single room, dog. Fuck it. I make bread.
Top G.
Top fucking G, dude.
What's your favorite skateboarder? Or who is your favorite skateboarder? I'm French.
Who's my favorite skateboarder? Fucking Tony Hawk. Ever play those video games?
Thug, baby.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Maybe like Mark Suchu. He's dope.
Nice. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Whew. This is a good one. Oh, you should have gave me these questions beforehand, buddy.
These episodes are edited, so you just take your time, buddy.
Do
you have a counter on the number of times we say buddy on this episode yet, or
buddy?
Editor,
guy.
put that in. Buddy counter. Can I talk to your editor, Phil?
You know what?
Yeah.
Give her work.
I'd say
shout out Irish Dave.
I don't want to say anything like crazy fucking outlandish like time traveler or any shit, but you know what? It would be really cool. Like, I guess you could just do this on your phone nowadays, but no, you know what? You would get really into good, deep conversations if you could just like speak every single language. I know you don't need necessarily a superpower to do that. There's that guy on YouTube that rolls up to the Chinese neighborhoods and starts speaking Mandarin, and they're like, "Oh my god!" But like, just to fucking not be on Duolingo every day of your life. Like, dude, if you could speak like every language, like the power of communication, that'd be really cool. You could finesse your way into the coolest of situations. Because like think like there's like languages in indigenous tribes in Papua New Guinea where like they only speak that language.
Unlock some knowledge.
Like, exactly. I feel like, dude, that's like the ultimate, like, if you want to be like the ultimate adventure traveler, like that's the ultimate superpower to have. Like you could literally like scale every inch of this globe, just like accumulating knowledge and just like die like being like a prophet, knowing all this crazy shit. Yeah, that's the superpower. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy.
If you could have a beer with one person from history, dead or alive, who would it be, buddy?
Andrew Tate. No.
Free the top G.
Oh, boys.
Yeah. Free the top G.
Do we have an episode name?
Holy
is that it? Free the top G?
It would be like a place and time. Fuck, dude. I don't want to get canceled. Oh.
I mean, we're trying.
I was thinking about this. I don't know if she would drink beer. I don't know. I feel like they did fucking Pocahontas dirty. You know, like they made a bunch of movies about her, about how like this fucking gorgeous white blonde man came over and like wifed her up or some shit. But like that's not the true Pocahontas story. And like, you know, I fuck Disney for that shit. I don't know. I would want to have a beer with Pocahontas and just ask her like what it was. Yeah, just get down to the bottom of the truth. Some investigative journalism, and also just like, dude, I'm really inspired by indigenous culture, indigenous knowledge, and like I just want to know what it was like living in North America, like before Whitey came over. You know?
Yeah,
fucked it all up.
Yeah,
dude, that would be a hell of a.
Yeah, that'd be a podcast, huh?
You imagine having a conversation with her and being like, "Listen, in the future, you're going to be in an animated movie."
Yeah,
she'd be like, "What is
like,
a movie?"
And you're gonna talk with animals, and your grandma's gonna be a tree. She'd be like, "Yo."
I feel like that'd be a sick travel vlog. Like, there's like geographical travel, like what we obviously like travel.
Dude, imagine
like time travel vlogs. That would be
imagine if like, technology was still like as primitive as it was in like the 1700s, but people could vlog. Like, imagine like Christopher Columbus like rolling up to the new land, like, yo, this shit is lit, dog. Like, check it out.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But I
What
don't
the
even
fuck
think that
is
they
that?
would vlog because so much of your time was
Oh.
spent like making sure you survived winter and making sure there was enough firewood so that you know what I mean. There was they were just so much
That's
busier
true,
than
but
we.
they need, dude.
No,
But if
they
Christopher
need
Columbus had a
one guy to plug the
Patreon,
Patreon. They
yeah, I'm saying, bro, if Christopher Columbus had a Patreon, he wouldn't need like to go to the Spanish crown and ask for money. He'd just be like, hey guys, like I'm trying to do this trip, like the authoritarians are pushing me down.
I just sold one
Yeah,
of my
no.
ships.
Patreon, get off the Matrix.
They needed to make propaganda somehow.
Couldn't afford the rest of my trip, so I sold my ship.
Exactly.
Right.
All right.
Right, like I did with my fucking motorcycle.
Yeah, that's you got it. What's something you never travel without?
I'd like to say my skateboard, but I did not bring it to Iraq. But yeah, fuck it, the skateboard.
Let's go. What is your
Yeah,
favorite
baby.
world attraction?
Oh, you know what was lit is the volcano in Guatemala. The one that's always erupting. Acatenango. Well, it's called Volcan de Fuego, but you climb Volcan Acatenango, and then you just watch this big bad boy just erupting all night long. It's such a sight to see. It's like it's like nothing you'd ever think you could see in your life. Like, I think I started living my life like to the fullest after I saw a volcano erupt for the first time.
Nice.
Aw.
Which country has the best cuisine?
Dude, you know what's funny? Okay, not to get on a tangent here, but like I posted that top 100 list of like
Yeah.
ranked countries, and I actually like just was so pissed off like about just this list. Like Iraq wasn't even on the top 100.
It's
Things
probably
like
lesser known, right?
super.
It was restricted
Yeah,
for a number of
exactly. It was
years.
just a fucking popularity contest, dude. Like it had nothing to do with like the actual taste. It was just exposure and popularity. So like no wonder like Italy #1 cubs and cheese. Like obviously that's gonna be
Dude, but
up
also
there.
fucking England on that list. I don't know who released it, but I saw it
They
on
were
Puberty's
dude.
Instagram. But England was above Thailand, dude.
Yeah, one above Thailand makes no fucking sense. Like
Well,
fucking
guys,
bangers and mash over like
boys,
Yeah.
pad
but
thai.
boys, you can't forget though that like you have spice and all these adventurous fruits and things here on this side, but on the other side you have boiled food. I think that's better. No,
Boiled food?
Jesus Christ.
You're
They
tripping.
have good meat pies. Good meat pies. I'll give them that.
oh,
That's pretty
meat pies
much
are
it.
sick. Shout out to Greg's.
Dude, this list is a whole
Oh,
podcast
Christ.
for
Oh.
itself. Like I could go on about it. Let's just go with Vietnam. Vietnamese food is pretty based.
What is your biggest travel pet peeve?
I think people who like plan too much or like stick too much to an itinerary and are just like, we need to go here at this time to see this temple, and they know all the history about it. And it's just like, dude, just be along for the ride. Like I get some people want to be like, it feels more secure that way, but it's like most of the cool shit I've done in my life has just been on a whim. It's been very spontaneous, but I mean, I get it if you have like a week or two, but like I would just say like just loosen up a bit. I'd say
Chill
yeah,
out, bro.
don't plan a little less if that's a pet peeve, if that makes sense.
Tell me your best travel hack.
Oh my god, but I'm not the one you should trust. That's the thing. Like we're about to tell a story of like trusting the wrong guy in fucking Iraq. Like, do not take me nor Connor's advice. The best travel hack is probably if you're going somewhere where they don't speak much English. I know this is very basic, but dude, learn the language and actually like try to have conversations. Don't just be like, quiero un taco de pastor, por favor. Like
I'll have a
actually,
Big Mac.
like,
That's pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like actually, like talk to the locals and see if they could maybe like open your eyes to some kind of new experience. Even if there's like a language barrier. Like I think me and Connor know, like, dude, Connor probably has better Spanish than me, but like just by talking to people, like we've had some really cool cool experiences in Latin America. Like this one time in Cartagena, I went to a quinceañera, which was like
nice.
really dope, and that was just because I started talking to some locals, and they just brought us to their neighborhood quinceañera, and it was lit. So yeah,
I would say when you're in like a region of the world like Latin America that all speak Spanish, I think it's easier to like pop from one country to another, especially like what you were doing. Like you went from, I don't know, like what your itinerary was, but and you were in Latin America for a while, right? You went to like Mexico, Central America, South America. But I would say like, for example, the trip I'm on, I went from like Eastern Europe to Turkey to Iraq to Pakistan. It's like, I don't have time to like learn all these languages. Like, no offense to the local culture.
oh yeah, no, totally.
Like, dude, we experienced that in Iraq. Like, we couldn't speak
Shukran,
to fucking
Habibi.
anybody. Yeah, shukran, Habibi. Like,
dude,
pretty much
I
it.
was actually kind of tripping at that one point. Like, it was twice in a day. Like, the police were like took our passports and shit and just like had us there, and like we were kind of tripping because like there was such a language barrier. So like people were driving and walking by. I'm like, hey, can you help us? Like these guys have like had us like stop here for like a long time, and we don't know what's going on. We're literally supposed to leave either that night. Yeah, we think we were leaving that night.
That was
and
our
like,
last day.
And we're like, yeah, we need to get out of here. Like, can you help us sort this? Like, bro, we're just trying to leave.
Yeah, that was fucking scary, dude.
It was weird.
Yeah, like we had no problems the whole time, and then the last day we get stopped twice, like within 20 minutes of each other.
They didn't seem stoked.
No, they were not.
Everyone was so welcoming, and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing here, infidel?"
Yeah. Dude, and the thing was, like, we ended up finding like one person that could translate for us. And dude, we had like the visa and everything. It was perfect. Like all the dates lined up. Like we were supposed to be there legally, right? But I don't think the police could read the visa. Like I just don't think they're used to looking at tourist visas because like they were confused. They're like they're reading the wrong thing and they thought we like overstayed or something. But we couldn't fucking 100%. Tell them because they didn't speak a word of Arabic.
Look, it's not like you could learn Arabic in that amount of time, but I think like the best case is like Spanish because like not many people in Latin America speak English, and every single country you go to is going to speak Spanish. So like that's a good tip. Yeah, is like really I think learning a decent amount of Spanish, not just to get by, but also to like have very enlightened experiences, if you will.
What is the most underrated country?
Iraq.
Okay, next.
Or Bangladesh. Like, I know we're going to talk about Iraq, but, like, yeah, Bangladesh was really dope, too, because it was like India, but they don't experience any tourists. So I think a lot of people complain in India because, like, there is a lot of scams. But I think when you go to Bangladesh, they definitely treat you, like, more fairly, and it's not like, oh, I'm nice to you because I want you to, like, come in my shop and buy elephant pants. Like, I'm nice to you because, like, I'm really grateful that like you chose to come to our country because like not too many people come here. So yeah, and I think Bangladesh has so much cool shit to offer. It's super safe too. Like no one's gonna fuck with you there. Like definitely a very safe country. Everyone's super nice. There's a lot of English. It's freaking gorgeous. There's a lot of cool experience to have. Amazing culture. It surprised me that not many people travel there.
That actually reminds me of Pakistan in a way. Like it was like India, but like way less scammy. And they were the same country, like up until I don't know, however, like the 70s, I think, like East Pakistan, West Pakistan. But I felt like the people in Pakistan were like much more hospitable. It's probably a polarizing statement to Indians, but like nobody tried to scam me there. So.
Oh, for sure, dude. Like, I think those two countries are definitely slept on, and the reason people don't go is because of Fox fucking News.
It's the unknown.
Because of Tucker Carlson.
The unknown, right? Like, a lot of people, whatever they see, like you said on the news, they're like, that makes up their opinion of that country. Where is somewhere you'd never go 100%. Back?
Machu Picchu.
Did you go early in the morning, or did you go during the day?
Not early, but it was in the morning. Yeah, maybe Phil, we can talk about your experience there too, because like, dude, I went and like it was, it's not the fact that it was like cloudy that day. Like we would have waited it out, like straight up, like we just went there and we wanted some good Tinder pictures, and, like just to see it.
God, dude. Come on, bro.
And like. And dude, so like we're there and it's like super cloudy, and so we're like, okay, let's go. And like you basically start at like the part that's above where you can take all the cool pictures, and like we'll go around, we'll explore the ruins and whatnot, and then we'll go back up for our Tinder pictures because the fog will clear. And so we started to walk around, and it's like this one way, it's like a loop, and it brings you all the way through and back to the entrance. And like it wasn't overly a busy day, I'd say. Like obviously there's gonna be a lot of people there, but compared to like how it could be not during COVID times, it could be like freaking packed. And like so we just keep getting through, and we're like to the staff there, like, hey, we didn't realize this is a one way, can we go back, and they were not having it. They're like, nah, keep getting through. And like we even like, okay, so we got to a place where the entrance meets the exit, and we're just like, let's just barge it. And we tried to barge it, and like the dude caught us, and he's like, he was not having our like Tinder picture sad story. And so he's like, nah, go back to the exit. So we went back to the exit, and there's no one in line at the entrance. And the thing about Machu Picchu is like, I probably would have bought another ticket, but you buy your tickets in the town. It gives you a time. You go at that time. So we went to the ticket thing, and he's like, oh, it's half an hour past your time. I'm like, it's half an hour. There's no one in line here. Like, let us get our Tinder pictures. It was more than just that. Like, can we just go in? Like, we fucked up. Like, we didn't realize how it works here, and we went around this loop, like, in half an hour. And they're basically like, tough shit. Get back on the bus. Go back.
That's so annoying to hear. I feel like that was one of my biggest gripes with Latin America, too, because I was in Colombia for a while, and I felt the same way. Like, and this might be like a hot take, but like as dysfunctional as those countries are, like they're very strict about like certain things. You have to follow like very strict rules
about that
about
money,
like
baby.
Appointment times, and like it's what?
It's about that money. They want to get that return ticket, right? They want to get that.
Yeah, but true,
yeah.
I'm like the opposite of like a travel Karen. Like I try to find the good in any place and whatnot, but like this is actually the only time I've ever wrote a Google review. I think I did. Yeah, I wrote like a review
for Machu Picchu, bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, now no one's gonna go, bro. You ruined them.
Oh, fuck. SealonTour canceled Machu Picchu.
Wow, that's a headline, eh? No, I had a good experience at Machu Picchu, man. We did the Huayna Picchu, like climbing the big mountain as well afterwards, and listen, I'd recommend.
So you did the hike?
Did the hike, yeah, and I really enjoyed that. It was a little dangerous, decently dangerous. If you fell back at one point, like you were definitely dying. There's no safety, anything. But listen, it's one of the seven wonders of the world. I know that the system controlling the site may suck, but I thought it was still pretty cool.
You were freshly engaged. You didn't want to fuck that up, dude.
I was actually before.
Get down on one knee, and then you're just gonna die on your fiance.
No, dude, it was actually before I proposed. I was thinking about doing it at Machu Picchu, and one of the guys that I talked to before was like, "Man, Machu Picchu will be super crowded, so you won't really have that like moment where you can take your time and you can maybe without take some pictures, but without people being in the background and shit." So like. I was happy I did it afterwards at Humanity Lake. Where did you experience the least friendly locals?
That's a good question. I'd say like the more touristy it gets, like the less people give a shit about you. Like probably I remember just like being in Lisbon, and it was just so touristed out that like just no one gives a shit about you. Like I think that's the case for like any pretty like touristy place in Europe. If you want to go to the Colosseum or the Eiffel Tower, it's just like you're not traveling there for the people. Not to talk shit about the people of Italy or France. I'm sure they're lovely people, but if you're gonna go to like the fucking Eiffel Tower, like people aren't gonna fucking be like the way it is in Bangladesh whenever I went.
No, exactly.
People
yeah. They're tired of seeing tourists.
Yeah, exactly. Least friendly. Yeah, let's just go Lisbon.
Where on your travels were you the most scared?
Ooh. I mean, it's part of the story, but like, it's not,
if it covers the story, we'll skip it.
No, never mind. Whenever I was in Colombia, I had a gun pulled on me. Like, homie didn't like stick it up to my head and like rob me, but he just like took it out, and he wasn't even robbing me. It was just like, I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm pretty sure it was just like some kind of cartel neighborhood, you know, and I was just there being a small-brained Canadian with my GoPro, and like
Classic.
they did not want me there, and like they just were asking for like, well, I had to delete all the footage, and they were just like asking for like my ID and shit, which I didn't bring it, which
You were
was
just giving it your
stupid. Like,
username. You're like, it's at SealonTour. It's at SealonTour, dude.
yeah, exactly. Follow me on TikTok. Drink Prime. And this kid, like, dude, this kid was like some kind of neighborhood watch or neighborhood security. He was probably like 18, and I think he was just like showing off for his friends. Like, him and his friends all surrounded me, and then he was getting mad. He took out his gun, started waving it around. I'm just like, I was like, at that point, I was saying like, dude, you can have all my fucking things. Like, I just want to leave. And dude, the thing is, he took my GoPro out of my little satchel thing, and I didn't think he gave it back to me. And he's like, "Okay, go." And like, I'm just like, "Okay." I split, walked an hour all the way back to the metro. And I'm thinking like he stole my GoPro, and then I looked in my satchel, and it was actually there. And like, I actually started tripping. I'm just like, "Wow, my brain is gone." Like,
dude, I would have been fucking shaking, dude. I'm surprised.
I was,
your
dude.
pants.
I was shook, but it's like, you know what? Like, I'm glad it happened to me, because like it was a good lesson. Just be like, okay, like, dude, you're not fucking Dora the Explorer. Like, you can't go wherever you want in this world, you know?
Yeah, it's a little bit like how you were talking about earlier, how, you know, YouTube is kind of feeding some of the more raw, you know, the raw destination of travel destinations, right? The YouTubers that are taking those chances. It's almost like you have to differentiate yourself a little bit by going to the more dangerous areas as a YouTuber,
yeah.
right?
Dude, 100%. And that's what I went on. Like, I told this story in a video, and like I kind of wanted to like take some responsibility as like a creator. I know I'm not a big creator, but like I just wanted to kind of put the message out there, just like, hey, if you're gonna go to somewhere like on the dangerous side, like, be more transparent about where you're going and whatnot. Because like, dude, like, I was one of those kids that was like, got stoked on Bald and Bankrupt videos and like wanted to just go out and explore, and then like I think it's something I wanted to do regardless of that, but I got myself caught in a situation. So like, you have to realize, like, I hate this word, but influencers, like, regardless if you want to be called an influencer or not, like, you have influence on people, and there's going to be some kids that freshly 18 just got out of high school on a backpacking trip, like, hell yeah, let's go to the barrios, and like, let's go explore some cartel neighborhoods because Bald does it, you know? So
Nolan
I
sent me.
definitely think.
You guys remember Nolan, right?
What's that?
Nolan sent me. You guys remember Nolan,
Who?
right?
Oh my god. Jesus. Use my promo code at the crack house to get 5% off your next order.
Exactly, man.
That's
and that's why, like, dude, I try, like, I'm not trying to like make, like, dude, I think I've had videos that are more like dangerous, but like I definitely think with like the way YouTube looks these days, like, I'm trying to avoid like going solo to Colombia's most dangerous hood, like shit like that. Like, I think you can have really cool, authentic experiences without like going to the hood, you know?
Risking
And if you
your
want to go to
life.
the hood,
Yeah.
there's definitely people that will bring you to the hood. You know, like my boy Timmy, he's in Colombia right now, and he just like, he meets people on the street, and they'll like bring him to the hood. So like, dude, if you want to go to the hood, don't just like blindly pack your backpack, let's go, and go to the hood. Like take, like,
Some
find
precaution.
someone, get a homie. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right, boys, let's get into top 5.
Top 5.
So in this top 5, Nolan will be giving us his 5 country that he has given his seal of approval.
Oh,
Very
hell yeah.
punny.
No, I'm
Very
gonna go.
punny.
It's like, it's more like top destinations. I don't think country in general. We're gonna go top destinations. So
Start us off.
number 1, we're gonna. Actually, this is in no particular
Nice segue
order.
there.
Number 1, this is a place you've been to, Phil, which is Iquitos. It's the second largest city in the Amazon, and it's also the largest city in the world that you can't get to by car. So there's no roads that go to Iquitos. It's like 500,000 people. So if you want to get to Iquitos, you either have to fly or take a boat that takes like 3 days. And it's like the gateway to get into the Amazon. So I think a lot of people will go there and they'll like just get a tour right away and then go into the Amazon. But like, I want to talk about maybe like the city itself, since it's such like a unique city. Like they basically are living off whatever the Amazon provides. If you go to the market there, you'll find like crazy shit. Like I ate caiman, which is like an alligator. You can find shit like dolphin there. You can find shit like monkey, like crazy shit like that. Like if you want, I did not eat monkey. I don't think I. Oh, you know what? If I was in the jungle and they offered me some monkey, I'd definitely eat some monkey. Cancel me. I don't give a shit.
We've been trying to do that this episode.
It's food. It's what they eat there, you insensitive fucks. But also just like the fact, like there's so many fruits that you don't see. Like also so much mystery juice that you don't see like every day. You know, like just crazy things because it's like in the middle of the Amazon. And I guess like some of these things that you don't find them shipped around the world because it's so isolated, man. It's just right in the middle of the Amazon.
Did you eat monkey?
No, nothing. Dude, and also since they live on the Amazon River, the water levels fluctuate so much during the year. So there's floating houses, like people literally living in communities that are floating, or communities on stilts that like during like high water seasons, the water is right up to their doorstep and they get out into their canoe to like go canoe to their neighbors. Like the little community we were in, their like soccer field is covered for half the year.
I think the water fluctuates 15 meters from dry to wet season.
It's insane, dude. The Amazon is a beast. It's a crazy fucking river.
Another good thing about Iquitos is actually one of the best places in the world to do ayahuasca. It's like ayahuasca capital, yeah.
Did you do that?
I did, yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, dude.
Don't. Does your boss listen to this podcast?
Oh, maybe. Shout out, boss.
Canceled.
It's legal there, man. Hey, I was just being a law-abiding citizen.
Did you shit your pants?
No, I puked.
Okay, yeah. Well, I've heard a lot of people will shit their pants. Wait, can we get into this? Can we dissect this? Like,
Connor and I did on the last episode, and I also had an episode out, so people must be like, Phil, shut the fuck up about ayahuasca. So just go to your next number here.
Okay, fair play. That's just the boys' conversation. Okay, next is Dhaka, Bangladesh. It's like a crazy mega city like Mumbai or Delhi, but like even crazier. I think it is the most crowded city in the world. But I think there's like things that, I think there's like a lot of things that make it more unique than like Dhaka and Delhi. Like, dude, to get around there, like they have like tuk-tuks, like they call them CNGs, like the little things with a motor, like green things. I hope you know what I'm talking about. But most of the transportation there is like a bike rickshaw, which is just like a dude with a bike with like this bench on the back. And dude, they're actually like the funnest way to get around. I'm sure after a while you'd just be like annoyed. What's that?
And the safest.
No, they're not at all. Dude, like
it's like no safety standards at all.
Dude, I actually just put out a video last night about like me and like some homies I met like got on a rickshaw and we fit 4 of us on this rickshaw, and then we went past a rickshaw with like 3 pretty girls, and I'm like actually like trying to like holler at them and say what's up. Like they were stoked, and like I was trying to get their Instagram, and like dude, the rickshaw driver was not cooperating with us at all. Like we're just like, dude, like slow down, like speed up. I'm like, what are we paying you for? Like,
what did you like hand your phone to them as the rickshaw was moving?
I was trying to. I had my Instagram pulled up on the screen because like they were like, what's your Instagram? Like there was one moment we were beside each other. I could shake their hand and have like a little conversation, and then we pulled ahead. And then I got my Insta out and they couldn't read it. And then probably like a minute later we went different directions. Damn. And like, it was hard. I don't know if like, you know, like there's like videos on like TikTok, like find this person, you know, I don't think I'm going to do that, but imagine like I definitely could could do that.
Dude,
It's
that
like,
could have been your wife, bro. You
what's-
just let her get away,
I
man.
was, yeah, I was gonna say that's like my Bangladeshi wife, but yeah, it's on YouTube. Let's move on. Third is Manala, and this is a little town in the north of India in Himachal Pradesh. It's actually a good place for weed tourism. They have like this thing called Malana hash, and it's just like their own special kind of hash. And a lot of people there go to smoke it. They say it's like the best hash in the world, but the lore, the mythology behind Malana is they believe they're descendants of Alexander the Great. You know, like how Alexander the Great's empire made it all the way to Pakistan, but these people believe they made it all the way to the north of India, and they believe they're like descendants of Alexander the Great's army. So like, dude, this neighborhood is like hard, or like, yeah, it's hard
Alexander
to get to.
the
It's
Great
like you
smoked the
gotta
dank.
definitely, dude. Alexander the Great was smoking
Smoke
loud.
that hash, bro.
Yeah, dude, that guy was fried. Probably why that guy died fried.
Doing hot knives in his fucking mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Sword
yeah, it's hard
Kush.
to get to. It's like
That's great. He's got like the blood of infidels on his fucking sword. He's like doing hot knives and shit.
holy shit. Okay, do you guys want to be educated?
Nah, I'm content being small brain, bro. Just let me live in peace.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, so dude, we had to like we were on motorcycles and we had to like do this dirt road that goes along a mountain, and then we had to like park it on the other side of the hill and go like climb a mountain up to this little ass community. And basically, since they believe they're descendants of Alexander the Great, they believe that any kind of outsider, whether it be Indian or foreigner, are inferior or like they're dirty or something like that. So like you can't touch anything there. So like say you go to pay for something, you have to put your money down, they'll put the thing down and you pick it up. And then there's signs that say like, oh, if you touch this building, it's like a $75 fine, which is, it's interesting to me because it's like there's no police there. They're kind of like self-ran, self-governed. Oh, also they claim to be the first democracy in the world. So it's just like, okay, so say if I touch this building and I get caught, like, what are the repercussions? Like, like it could be weird, you know? Like,
It's
I
like
don't
citizens
know.
arrest shit.
Maybe that's your
Vigilantes.
next small brain vlog, Con. Dude, if you're flying into Delhi not too long, you definitely could go.
Isn't it in the mountains though? I feel like it's gonna be like chilly up there.
It would take a while to get to, but it's very interesting. It's like near Kush. No, don't quote me. Just look it up. It's called Malana, or no, Manala. Either one of the two.
three.
Manala or I think Manala, Milana.
Is it Manila?
Look them both up. No, it's not Manila. It sounds like Manila, but yeah, but it's not too hard to find if you look up like Alexander the Great Indian town or something like that. It was one of the most interesting places I've ever been to. The next one has a lot of like, it's similar with like all this like lore and mythology behind it. It's a town called Zenil in Guatemala. And they have this church there. It's the Church of San Simon, who is like a patron saint of Guatemala, but he's like an evil saint. I don't know. I got canceled for, not canceled, but I got backlash for saying he was evil. But like the mythology around him would be like, oh, like the sailors would go out to sea and he would say like, oh, I'll take care of the neighborhood women, but he would just like fuck their wives or some shit. And like he's also like the saint of like drinking and like smoking weed.
Hey.
Yeah, no, straight up Guatemalan fuckboy, like my Guatemalan spirit animal. So you'll go to this church, right? And even dude, the town itself is just crazy. It's like this tiny little town with this cemetery in the middle full of like different colored like tombstones, and then like you're surrounded by volcanoes, and it's just this crazy ass setting. And then you find this little tiny church with this man, this doll, life-size doll sitting in a throne, and you can buy little things of alcohol or cigarettes. And there's these people like all around San Simon. And I guess maybe he forgives their sins for like wrongdoings and whatnot, since he's like the patron saint of evil. Don't quote me on this. This is just what I saw. And they're there and they're like on their knees. They're praying to him. And then homie like lights up a cigarette and they put it in his mouth.
Hey.
And like, dude, this, yeah. And then also his mouth has a little hole in it. So like you can go and take your bottle of tequila, like tilt him down and like feed this dude tequila.
No.
My homie was saying, okay, this is actually hilarious. Like, there's also a video on this on my YouTube channel if you want to go digging. But like my homie Josh was saying, like, what if it's this guy is like that one dude from Night at the Museum, and when he wakes up, he's just pinned off his ass.
Just one big cough.
Right.
Yeah, just gets up and fucking Ralphs.
Fuck, that's interesting.
Yeah, dude. That shit was one of the craziest things I've ever saw. There's two in Guatemala. There's two San Simon churches. One of them, the one I went to, is like not really close to anywhere touristy, but there's also one on Lake Atatlan, which is like a tourist area that you could just get like a water taxi to. So like, yeah, I encourage anyone if they go to Guatemala, look that place up because it's actually like a cultural phenomenon. You'll get quite culture shocked and look into the mythology behind San Simon. It's definitely interesting. Okay, lastly on my list is a place called Garbage City in Egypt, and basically, yeah. So it's a Christian neighborhood in Cairo, and they basically like took it, their responsibility or their way of making money is going around the city and collecting all the garbage from the different neighborhoods because there's not like proper waste management, and so they bring it to this basically this whole city, and that's where they do like all the processing. And it's such a crazy process to see. Like literally they'll take the organic waste and they have a bunch of pigs there and they'll feed it to pigs, and then they have all these compressor machines for like recycling and whatnot. And it's really cool that like, dude, I literally had to go to fucking Egypt to learn about like sustainability and garbage and waste management, stuff like that. So I think it's a really cool like case study if anyone like wants to do research on like how to properly like waste management within a community. It's dope. But one of the other cool things I did there was, dude, throughout this whole community, they have all these pigeon towers, which is like this crazy tower, like on top of a 10-story building. And it's just a wooden structure that's maybe like 3 or 4 stories high. And you get to the top of them and it's full of like pigeon cages, right?
Is Mike Tyson
and basically
there?
What they do, what's that?
Is Mike Tyson there?
Dude.
Tyson?
I think dude, that's the thing. I think Mike Tyson needs to go here, dude. Like, he would love it because they do. I don't know if he would approve, like, dude, there's a lot of. So, like, basically, they do pigeon races and they bet on pigeon races. So, like,
that's
dude, this
sick.
dude let his.
I mean,
they let his
let's
pigeon
go.
out. And this dude was a pigeon trainer, just like watching his pigeons, like, circle around the pigeon tower. And he was telling me about how, like, yeah, this not my pigeon, like this other guy's pigeon, like kept coming over to my thing, and like I'm like, hey, I'm not giving him back, so he cut his wings off, and he's like, well, at least like I can use him to mate. So like Mike Tyson wouldn't approve about that, but like, dude, the dudes were telling me about like the pigeon turf war that like happens there. Like they actually get in fights because like they'll steal each other's pigeons and cut their wings off. But it's like, what the fuck do you expect? Like, if you let a pigeon out of its cage, it might land on someone else's, like, tower and, like, chill with their pigeons. Like, but they take it fucking seriously. Like, apparently, like, it's a business, Like,
that's some of the weirdest shit I've heard. That's awesome.
Oh, dude. Well, I have a video on it if you want to check it out. But it was fucking weird, dude. Well, not weird. It was really, really cool. One of the most neato things I've ever seen. And it'd be cool to actually like see like some pigeon betting. I went to a cockfight where people bet on cockfights, so I think it's in the same vein, but the pigeons don't have to die.
It's
the difference.
That's such an obscure like subculture. How did it
how did
it smell in Garbage Town?
I was gonna say, does it get your seal of approval for best smelling city?
Yeah, no, dude. It was definitely like obviously it's gonna smell bad, but one of the things that surprised me is just like there's well, you probably could assume this, but there's like a lot of like dead rats, like that got ran over by cars. Like I didn't see too many
Really
alive, but
place.
you just see like you walk.
Not only does it smell like shit,
see, like,
there might be a new fucking rat fucking pandemic here
all
because
the
of
rats
this place.
you see are like all the rats you see are squished, and also like whenever I went there alone, some dude threatened me with like a piece of metal.
God damn.
But then I went there with a local, and like he was chill.
No, and I imagine you're like writing your own guidebook with like all these like fucked up destinations. Like, yeah, here's how to like get mugged in Colombia and like witness a fucking pigeon race in Egypt. Like,
see a dead rat pyramid in fucking Egypt.
This shit needs to like come with like a warning label on it.
Yeah.
Like, don't listen to me. That's what I was trying to say. Like, whenever it comes to YouTubers going to like dangerous places, like take responsibility. I don't think any. Let me look around this list. Yeah, none of these places I've mentioned were dangerous places, I'd say. So yeah, except if you touch something and not a lot. If you go to somewhere and you touch something since you were inferior to Alexander the Great's army, don't go and touch things in Manila. Then you might have trouble. But besides that,
wear gloves.
Yeah, I don't even know if you can, dude.
So we should maybe, since none of those are dangerous, we should maybe talk about your story because apparently that was a little dangerous, right? So let's go talk about Iraq.
Story time.
Yeah, okay, so story time. I guess me and Connor can go a little back and forth on this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you guys want to do, but you can kind of just.
Well, I would like to start it because I remember we were just like walking around one day, as we do, just fucking around, and
it was our first full day there.
Yeah, and we're just meeting people as we do, you know. I think we were like looking for an ATM, but it was Friday, so everything was closed, and we were asking people where to get an ATM, but we ended up not spending any money that day. No one allowed us. Actually, all the ATMs were closed, oddly enough, like on the holy day. I don't know why they don't work, but anyways, we met this. Yeah, Friday. They just everything shuts down, like everything. So we meet this guy, and you'll see in my video, like, because I think I was recording this whole interaction. Like, we're meeting this guy, and Nolan's like, so we're meeting guy A, and then Nolan's like, hey, like, you know, I'm from Canada, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, out of nowhere, this guy comes up. Doesn't say hello, doesn't say where are you from, doesn't say nice to meet you. He's just like, he goes, I am U.S. military officer. I work with generals. I work in the military. I work at the embassy. I am politician. And then we're like, wow, just being super naive and like idiots, basically. And Nolan, dude, I wanted to bring this up because in the video, Nolan says, oh, you're a politician. We will promote you. So that, just remember that. Remember that detail later in the story.
Just throwing some blame here already, eh?
Yeah. I don't think like any like red flags were raised exactly from the start. Like, dude, this guy was prim and proper. Like, he had like false white teeth, like full military haircut, like had probably like really like expensive clothes, and like, dude, he had several phones that he never put in his pocket. Like, he was always like walking around with like 2 or 3 phones in his hand, which was like really
and he said he had like 6 phone numbers also.
Yeah, dude, there's a string of lies that we're about to unfold here. Okay, so we get his contact information, and he's like, come meet with me. We're going to go to Saddam Hussein's palace. So we meet up with him, and like right away, he's just like, okay, boys, you're going to need some suits. I'm going to deck you out. And we're like, we don't got any money for suits. He's like, nah, don't worry, money today. I'm going to pay.
Before he did that, though, he like took us, like on the way to get the suits, he took us to his girlfriend's shop where she like ran this lingerie store, and he gave her like a stack of cash. I don't know how much it was in Iraqi, but like it must have been at least a few $100s, maybe a couple $1,000. But he just handed her this fat stack, and apparently that was his girlfriend. But who knows? I mean, based on some of the things he said later, like he could be involved in sex trafficking. I don't know. Like, we don't know how this guy is like so wealthy. But yeah, he took us to the suit shop. He bought us each like $200 suits, brand new shoes, socks, ties, tailor-made suits, and
they look
like
awesome.
So while we were in getting suits, like it evolved from like, oh, we're gonna go to Saddam Hussein's palace to like, okay, we're gonna go to the U.S. embassy and meet the U.S. ambassador, and there is potential to meet the prime minister. And like he was just kept going off about, and like, dude, me and Connor were just like, fuck yeah, we struck YouTube gold, like clickbait. I met the Iraqi prime minister. Like, dude, our heads were in the fucking clouds. So yeah, he
Sounds
was
too
making
good to
a
be
lot of
true.
promises. And then, okay, so the first red flag was like we were talking to this guy on the street, like he was super nice, like just wanted to know what we were doing, and like we got his contact information because we were like, okay, we'll go for tea for some time, like something super safe, just like tea on the streets, like, and we'll talk about life, like whatnot. And then we get back in the cab with Ahmed, and Ahmed just starts fucking tearing us a new one. He's like, don't talk to strangers. They could be ISIS. They could be terrorists. Just like, I'm an Iraqi officer. I'm a U.S. citizen. I know how it is here.
No, I think verbatim, like, he was like, I know everything that happens here. Like, he was very like egotistical.
That happens in the streets. And then I kind of called him out, and I was like, well, Ahmed, isn't that exactly what we're doing right now? Like, we're following you, a stranger, like that we met in the streets, like going into a cab with you, like that's kind of hypocritical, man. He's like, no, like I'm officer, I'm U.S., like I work for the embassy. He's like, you can trust me. And I'm like, dude, those are just words. Like, I don't know these things. Like that guy could tell me whatever the fuck he wants. They're just words, you know? And dude, at this point, like I had my phone and I gave my phone to Connor. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna ask this guy for credentials. Like, I'm gonna ask for his like American passport.
And I was like, hell no, dude, no, don't do that. We're gonna get us killed, dude. Like,
let's record your last video, bro.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and so, dude, but by that time, like, I was kind of skeptical because like he told me he spent 8 years in Milwaukee, and I asked him about the Bucks, and like he didn't really have like any solid answer about the Bucks.
Also, he was asking us like really basic questions about American culture, like how it is to date and like stuff like that. Where I'm just like,
so this was the weird thing.
What's the beer culture
feel free to cut this out if it gets too graphic. But like he lived in the U.S. and he must know like a little bit about U.S. hookup culture, and like he was asking about girls we dated, and he's like, so when you fuck girls, like did you fuck her in her asshole or in her pussy? and then
no, first he just asked if we had sex. He's like, oh, have you ever had sex, or like have you?
And then he's just
which is normal things that guys ask each other, right?
Yeah, right. Just locker room talk,
strangers
right? Like,
you just met on the street.
Yeah.
But we'd say like, oh, I dated a girl, and yeah, of course, and like he's like, so just one time, like you just only had sex with her one time, and I'm like, we fornicated multiple instances, you know, like.
And his mind was blown.
U.S. Embassy,
his mind
employees
was blown.
do,
like,
right?
And, yeah, like dude, we were just like talking about like super casual, like nothing super explicit, but just casual dating shit, and he's like, wow. I'm like, dude, like it doesn't sound like you really know U.S. culture. Like, do you ever watch Friends?
Yeah. I gotta be honest, that was when I didn't find that sus. I feel like I'm like very trusting, and it was that, and then the stuff in the car where he was getting like really possessive over us, where like I've looked back over the footage and I was like, actually, like this guy's kind of fucking weird. Also, he made a comment like when they picked us up. So like he gave us the suits, right? And then he's like, no, I'm going to send them to a dry cleaner. We're going to get them pressed and laundered, and they're going to be perfect. And he was very specific. He's like, I want you guys to shower and shave and like do your hair and like look really nice. It was like, it was like some weird like pimp shit. And then he drove over.
Dude,
he like
it made me feel dirty.
You guys were a piece of ass.
He what?
Hey,
you guys were like a piece of ass for him,
dude. I felt like an expensive hooker. Like, so he sent over a taxi like with our laundered suits, and then he like sent him up to our room. So he knows where we stay, like he knows where we live. And then he's like texting me like every 5 minutes, like, are you ready? Are you ready? Like, my driver's ready for you. Like, please change faster. And I think it might be in Nolan's video where I'm like trying to do my tie, and I'm like, fuck, he's texting me. He's blowing up my phone. Like, we have to go now. Cause I thought it was an emergency. Like, we're going to meet the fucking Iraqi prime minister. And then we get in the car and like, we're just like walking around, and then we just go to a fucking mall. And he said it was like Saddam's palace, and it's just a mall. Like,
okay, wait, we got to backtrack there. Okay, so we get in the car with him and we meet him in his neighborhood, like just down his street. And like he's trying to say like all the military and police security there, because it was a nicer neighborhood, were his. Like he was saying like these are my personal security guards, like that watch over my place. But he just lived in an apartment complex, like nothing crazy. Also, he told us at one point he lived in the green zone, which is the zone for like diplomats and whatnot, but like we weren't in the green zone, we were still in Quebrada. And yeah, he was trying to claim like he had all these guards and shit and whatnot, but he just lived in an apartment. And then we got in with his like personal driver and we were driving around and like it was super casual. People were just like out the window, like we've been doing all week. We're just like, oh hey bro, like thanks for coming to Iraq, like good to see you, good to see tourists. And still he was like, don't fucking talk to those people. You don't know how it is. Have guns, they could shoot you. It was fucking weird, dude.
Yeah.
And like
He also told me,
call him out on that point. Like,
yeah, in my video, I was like, Ahmed, what would happen if I continue waving at people? And he's like, don't ask, just shut up. Like very sternly, like daddy just slapped the kid. I was like, Jesus, all right, bro. Like, goddamn. Like,
yeah. Dude,
yeah,
he just wanted us all to himself. So we roll up to Saddam's palace, right?
Oh, wait. And before I want to throw something in also. Like, something that I didn't notice at the time, but I was rewatching the footage, which was really fucked up, is, I don't know if you remember this, Nolan, but like we were driving by his neighborhood and he like looks out the window and he like waves to some like, he said, like, oh yeah, there's this little girl here. He's like, do you want the girl? Like, do you want little girls? And I was like, what? I think you said, you were like, wait, what are you talking about? But I didn't even register at the moment. You know what I mean? Like there was so much happening and I rewatched the footage and I'm like, holy fuck. Like, is this guy like a pimp or like, I don't know. He was like a really shady guy.
Fuck. It's like
yeah, that's fucking weird. I think you sent that back to me. It was weird. Okay, so yeah, we're at Saddam's palace and it's just like a shopping mall. And like he's just like, and at the one point in the cab, Connor, you're like, oh, what are the suits for and whatnot? And he's just like, oh, I just want you to look good. You know, I knew you guys would want to look good. And I'm like, Ahmed, I don't want to look good. Like, I don't like fucking suits. I think this shit makes me uncomfortable. And then he was saying like, dude, the reason why we waited so long is like, he was saying like, oh, Saddam's palace opens at 10. I'm like, what? That makes no sense. And it's like, we get in here and it's like restaurants and shopping malls and stores. And I'm like, I looked it up. Like, this has been open all day. What do you mean Saddam's palace opens at 10? And there's like a fucking bowling alley there. And I think maybe one of the buildings close to there was one of Saddam's palaces because like he had like 18 palaces. But dude, you're not in right mind if you're like calling this fucking shopping center Saddam Hussein's palace. Like he was making promises like, oh, we're actually going to go to one of Saddam's like old palaces and you'll actually be able to see like stuff that Saddam had. And it was just like, we got there and he's just like, oh, I just got these suits for you so you could look nice, you know, so that you could get by security. But like, dude, we got in there and there's people with fucking track pants. Like there's people like casually dressed. Like, yeah, I'm sure you couldn't wear like shorts or something there, but like it was hella casual. And like we're there walking around in our fucking suits.
Yeah. Like white guys like, already, like we already stand out, like tall white guys. And then also we're wearing these suits. It just felt like we were being paraded around. And he like, Ahmed was like very proudly kind of like strutting around like, yeah, like these are my American friends. Like, look at me, you know, it was very bizarre. Very, very bizarre, man. That's where I was like, wait, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. And so like at that point, I'm just like, okay, like we're not going to see the real Saddam's palace. We're not going to go to the embassy. We're not seeing the ambassador or the prime minister. Like what the hell is going on here? And we leave Saddam's palace and he pulls over on the side of the road. And that's when we met Haji Hatem.
Classic Haji Hatem.
The deputy finance minister of Iraq, who apparently lives down a dark alley. So, and dude, at that point, like small-brained American was like super down. like you were down to follow him down a dark alley. I was ready to be like, yo, man, what the fuck are we doing? Like straight up, like where are we going? Like we're meeting a finance minister down this alley. Like I was straight up like looking at the sides of the alley. Like, hey, what can I hop? Like, what? How can I get out of this situation?
And like loafers, you're like about to fucking full sprint.
and then, dude, and he said this line. it's in both of our videos where he's like, do not smile. This is an important guy. Like, just stand there, shake his hand. Like,
Yeah.
act
He
chill.
told us he was like
And-
a finance minister for Saddam Hussein for 37 years. Which, like, at the time I was like,
dude, we could not find.
at the time I was like, oh, it's
anything on
amazing.
this
Wow, he's like this big important guy, like political, like federal, or not federal, but like national figurehead. And then I thought about it later, like as I pieced it together, like afterwards. And I was like, wait, if he worked for Saddam, that means like they would have killed him. You know what I mean? Like they didn't let people survive.
Yeah,
So
I think, right?
yeah, but at the time
Yeah.
we were just like, oh wow, we have these suits. Like I don't know, I was just like full on like starstruck. I was like, cool, we're gonna meet a politician. So we like walk down this alley, and then he knocks on the door and says some words to these kids inside, and then I think I hypothesized that was when he was like getting everything ready, because like I feel like we're walking into like a staged environment where this guy's praying. He just happens to be praying when we walk in. This very pious guy, and Ahmed even says, he's like, oh yeah, he's a really good guy. Look, he's praying to Allah, like very pious. You know?
And then, but we looked at the timestamps of our like photos, and then like you can see like there's specific times that you have to pray every day, and like this was not one of the times like you were supposed to be praying in Islam, you know. But also I think this is one of the reasons why Saddam Hussein's palace coincidentally opened at 10 at night was it was convenient for the finance minister Haji Hatem for like us to come over to his place. Like this is all speculation, but it was super sus because dude, we got in there, we had like 2 seconds of small talk. They put down some like tea and snacks and whatnot, and like we had one sip of tea, and then Ahmed's like, all right, it's time to go, but first like let's take photos. And like dude, we're taking photos with the finance minister, and like Ahmed, this is the first time Ahmed takes out his phone and starts taking pictures. Like the whole time he wasn't taking any other pictures with us, but we're with the finance minister, and it's like we're with his family, and it's like time to take pictures. And he's saying like, oh, like say he's a nice guy, and I'm like, yeah, he's a nice guy. He's like, no, say it again, but this time say like Haji Hatem, like finance minister, he's a nice guy, talk about his family. And I'm just there, and it's like in Connor's video.
Am I fucking
And I'm like,
hostage right now?
Connor got him to send these clips over, but I'm like, yeah, we're here with Haji Hatem. He's a nice guy, nice family, like beautiful.
And then Ahmed goes, what about his sons? And then Nolan, he's like standing like all nobly. He's like, amazing sons, just like so like cheery and like just a proud propagandist. Like
it was full fucking propaganda, and like if that wasn't propaganda, like we were clearly used to just like look good, because like dude, this dude was doing his rounds today. Like maybe he gave Haji Hatem some money that day, but like the next thing that happened was we went to a mosque and he met up with someone there and he gave him $6,000 US. Yeah. And like the dude
Benjamins,
was like,
bro.
dude, this is
Blue
not
notes.
enough money. Yeah, and then like maybe like it would have went down differently if like we weren't there, you know, like the American investors he was showing around. So also while we were there, this was like the time of, like I was getting really annoyed. I wanted to go home. I was over it. And like he kept saying like everyone who came up to us, he was like, don't talk to them. And this Afghani kid came up and talked to us. He was a refugee. He worked for the special forces when the Taliban took over. So he's literally escaping Taliban because the Taliban would kill him since he was part of the special forces. And we were talking about this, and like Ahmed just like starts making fun of him. He's like, you are Iraqi? And he's just like, your country was taken over by Taliban. And like the kid at one point was like, oh, he's joking. And he's like, no, I don't make joke. Like, and this, they got into this confrontation, and Ahmed was like, oh, where's your visa? Like, he's like, no, like, I'm here with like the UN, like gave him permission.
Yeah, he said
like,
he worked
refugees
with
back.
the Afghani military. So when the Taliban took over, like they were after him, like they were going to kill him. So he's like fully a refugee, like a asylum seeker.
I've seen this video, and then Ahmed all of a sudden became a police officer or something.
Yes, you noticed that, bro. He added that to his resume. Also, he told us he was he owned like an airline, and he owned like all these businesses. It's just like at the end of the night, I feel like he told us like 17 job descriptions. Like he probably has the most fucked up resume.
So yeah, he was getting to this confrontation with the Iraqi kid about his visa and shit, and then we were on our way out, and some kids were talking to us, and he was like, don't talk to these kids. Like, they're saying disgusting things about your families. I'm like, dude, it's just kids are make jokes and shit. And then, like, I was over it. Like, he brought us to some food, and then he dropped us off. And, like, that's whenever, like, it's in both of our videos. Like, I went on a rant about, like, how, like, oh, I feel dirty in these suits. Like, I just felt like I was paraded around to, like, be like, to just be shown off or like used for propaganda or whatnot. Like, we still don't know exactly who he is or what the objective was, but it wasn't like, welcome to Iraq. Let me show you like how great Iraq is. It was, and it was good that like we uploaded these videos, and like I thought there might be some backlash. People would be like, wow, this guy like bought you nice things and you're here shitting on them. But like every single fucking soul like agreed with us, like, this guy is sus. This is the definition of sus. If you guys want to watch a video with like a pathological liar and know what the definition of sus is, like, watch this video. And so like the next day and the days following, me and Connor are starting to put it together how like, dude, like, I think we might have been like used for something like even bigger, like with the Haji Hatem thing, like the finance minister going to his house and like saying all these things on camera. Like, I think there was some alternative motives here, and we started to spook ourselves out.
Yeah, and actually,
like,
I have
get into our
my
head,
girlfriend actually lives in DC, and she told me like she has people in Washington that she knows, and so she asked around. She knows people at the embassy, the U.S. embassy, which Ahmed, told me he worked at. And actually, in the end of my video, I call Ahmed on the phone, and I ask him like, "Hey man, what's your last name? Like, we're gonna look you up." And he very begrudgingly told me, he's like, "Oh yeah, it's Ahmed such and such." And I was like, "Oh yeah, and what's the phone number you use to register your identity?" I was asking him like very pointed questions. I was like, "What's the phone number you use to register yourself with the embassy? Because like you should be in the database." And then he told me, and I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you're not in there. Like, you don't work at the embassy." And he got very defensive. So we actually did some digging later, and we're like, "Oh yeah, you don't work at the embassy. Like, you're not who you say you are. Like, how the fuck did you get this money?" And I even asked him, I was like, "Oh yeah, is Haji Hatem like running for office? Are you going to use these photos for like his political campaign?" And I don't know if he fully understood the question, but he did say, he's like, "Oh yeah." He just kind of agreed, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you
let's just end it off by saying like, we still don't know exactly what happened. It was definitely sus, but like,
yeah,
but the more we have like people watch the video, I'm not trying to be like a fucking shameless plug, like there's a video on Connor's page and there's a video on my page, like the more like people have been commenting and like clarifying, like, we don't know definitively, but this guy was sus. Like, there's theories like, yeah, he was just trying to look good, or like he's fucking part of like the
Iranian militia,
the mob, the militia or some shit like that. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't have answers. Let's just leave it off.
Yeah.
This was very sus. It was the most sus experience of my life. But also, okay, like, let me just say, like, I don't want this to affect, like, your opinion on Iraq. Like, I think this could have happened in any country. Like, no matter where you go, like, keep your guards up. I think it's kind of easy to tell when someone's, like, a pathological liar. Like, don't trust anyone. Like, go out for tea with people first. Like, don't, the first time you meet someone, go buy $300 suits and get promised to meet the prime minister.
That's your travel hack, Phil. There you go.
That's a travel hack, boys.
That's probably.
I just think it was crazy that they thought that you guys were investors.
Yeah, no, Seal even said in the cab. He even said it in the cab. He's like, "I'm a skater street rat. Like, I don't feel comfortable in this suit at all."
Oh yeah, I was bummed, dude. I was like, Ahmed, like, unless I need to wear this, I don't want to wear this. Like, this is not my shit. Like, we are standing out as a sore thumb.
We ended up just leaving the suits in a fucking shoebox in the hotel room. Like, we literally couldn't get rid of them. So.
Yeah, no, but I didn't want to wear it. I would have felt dirty if I wore it back here.
Yeah, like listen, boys, I watched the videos and I was like really sucked into the story, because you clearly know that there's something wrong going on. Like, even you guys were talking about like when Ahmed was talking to the fucking Afghani kid, the refugee, and he mentioned, he's like or he was testing him, saying like, "Oh, like you say bad things about Iraq. Like I'm a police officer. You're lucky I don't have my gun because I would shoot you." And I was just like,
Yeah.
"Oh fuck."
Wow.
Well, it was also very telling that, like, in the beginning of the video, he's like, don't trust anyone. Iraq is so dangerous. It's so bad. You know, these kids are talking to us. He's like, don't talk to these kids. And then the Afghani kid's like, oh, yeah, Iraq's dangerous. And then he's like, no, it's not. It's much better now. Like, he just wanted his narrative, whatever he was saying to be
he
the
would
truth.
say whatever he could say to support his narrative. Like, he was back and forth on a bunch of things like that. But, like, dude, we could talk about, speculate over this shit for, like, hours. And me and Connor have. Me and Connor went back and forth speculating. So, like, I'd just say, like, yeah, go watch the video and determine for yourself, and maybe one day we'll have a conclusion.
Yeah.
Fuck. So this is gonna be like a serial fucking podcast. I think like people are gonna like dig into this guy.
Oh.
Who is he actually?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Follow the money.
We're gonna be on Netflix one day.
Investigative journalists. This is a free story, so just saying, reach out to ya boy Seal or fucking Small Brained American for the story. So, but anyways, boys, this was a lot of fun. Thanks so much for coming on and sharing your awesome story. This was I just feel like people have to watch the video. I feel like you watch the video and it puts it all into perspective. You know, it's one thing to explain it, but to actually see it, to see the guy and his demeanor and the way that he treats people, it just really, it really hits home. There's something wrong with this guy.
I was really grateful. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I was going to say, I was really grateful that we recorded, because if we didn't, like, this would be such a weird and, like, unbelievable story to tell people. It's like, I got used for Iraqi propaganda. They'd be like, nah, what are you talking about? Like,
and not to say shameless plug, but also to shameless plug, like, probably everything I talked about today is also, like, a video on my YouTube. So, yeah, there's some cool things you can check out there.
Yeah, so go check out their pages. Thanks a lot for coming on, boys. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, boss.
Thanks, buddy. Peace.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to Two Beers Till Takeoff. Do you want free additional content or just to stay connected with the show? Then give us a follow on our social media platform. That means TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of them. Are you in need of podcast production services, video editing, or anything in between? Then look no further than Strut Sound Productions, the official producer of the Two Beers Till Takeoff podcast. Music produced by Alex Gagne. Check out his work in our show notes. Voiceover done by Viking Leo K. See you next week on Two Beers Till Takeoff.